Welcome to Mallorca and to the brand new Skoda Kodiaq, probably known as the Skodiaq to its friends. It's a bigger, more grown-up sibling to the Yeti, available with 7 seats and a ginormous boot. Yes, I know what you're thinking, another SUV. But if you keep buying them, then of course manufacturers will keep making them and churning them out at a rate of knots. But what makes this one more interesting than the rest is the price. You see, this car offers the space and practicality of a Land Rover Discovery Sport, but at the price of a VW Golf. I mean, I love the Golf, but you have to admit, this is an awful lot more car for your money. Just look at the size of the thing. Now, the other big thing that the Kodiaq has on its side is practicality. So if you open up the boot here, wait patiently for the electric motors to do their thing, then you'll see that there's a fairly decent parcel shelf back here, about 270 litres or certainly enough for some shopping bags. If you fold down these seats in the back, then you're left with about as much space as you get in an Octavia estate. But if you fold down all of these seats using the levers here, then you've got over 2,000 litres of cargo space, which isn't bad for a car that's still a little bit shorter than a Superb. This third row of seats is standard on higher spec models or a £1,000 option on SE models. As you can see, there's just enough room for an average sized road tester, so kids should be just fine back here. Things are even better here in the middle. It's not quite MPV generous in terms of space, but there's plenty of headroom thanks to the tall roof, and these seats slide back and forth independently from each other as well as recline, though whoever's in this middle seat might feel a little bit shortchanged. Those travelling in the front of the Kodiaq are going to be feeling the most pampered though, as it has a seriously smart cabin. It's spacious but feels really premium with nice materials, a good driving position and some impressive technology to play with as well. But as usual, the best gadgets are reserved for the SEL and Edition models, whereas the lower spec S and SE models miss out on some key equipment. On the road, you might expect the Kodiaq to feel just like a bigger version of the Yeti, and that's not entirely true. It's based on a different chassis platform, so the emphasis is more on comfort than it is on handling poise. The Yeti is a bit dartier, a bit more fun to throw around, but obviously it's smaller and lighter, so that kind of goes with the territory. That being said, all the sense of fun hasn't been taken out of the car, so the steering's still pretty precise, the handling's good, and there's less body roll than you'll find in some of this car's rivals. The engine we've got here is the top spec version. It's a 2-litre diesel with 187 brake horsepower, paired up with a 7-speed DSG gearbox and 4-wheel drive, which means that'll set you back a fairly hefty £34,000, particularly in this Edition trim. It's fairly pokey, and I think it'd probably cope best of all the engines in the range with being 7-up or being laden down with luggage and a trailer, but it's still not the quickest car off the mark. This version does 0 to 62 miles an hour in just about 8.8 seconds, but if you go for the more popular 148 brake horsepower diesel, then you're probably looking at a time closer to 10 seconds, which is fairly lethargic. Having said that, refinement is pretty decent, so there's not too much noise coming into the cabin, especially when you're cruising. You do hear a bit on kickdown and when you're driving up steep hills like we are now, but other than that, you're nicely isolated from the world around you. So, as we've seen, the Kodiaq is a decent all-rounder. It's spacious, it's practical, it features an excellent cabin with plenty of high-quality materials and cool gadgets, and it's not bad to drive either. I have been a little bit disingenuous when it comes to the pricing though. If you want a diesel engine and you want 7 seats, and let's face it, most buyers will, then you're probably looking at around £28,000 for this car. But I personally still think that makes it excellent value for a car of this size and capability, and should put it right near the top of the class.